As I'm sure you know, I recently fell short in the presidential election. Due to rules in the Constitution, I was required to receive 80% yeses and fell short by a very small margin. To prove my resilience and how determined I am to be your next CSA president, I am humbling myself and running again. With my executive experience this past year, I have a deep understanding of the great things and also the things that need to be worked on within the CSA, which will help me as president. Some of my relevant experience within ASPR is FYC fundraising co-chair, 5 Days for the Homeless Events coordinator, AIMS ambassador, JDC West social competitor and winner, and this year I was the VP of Marketing and Communications for the CSA. I understand from a voter's perspective there are a few questions that may come to mind, such as why I didn't win the first time or why you should vote for me. So I've talked to a handful of people that voted against me or didn't vote in the first election to understand how I can improve as someone you consider suitable to lead the CSA. Listening to students means a lot to me, so here are the 3 lessons I learned and how this translates into my platform. The first form of feedback that I received when speaking with students was that there is a perception that I am extremely goofy and silly. This is true, but this is not what defines me, as I am professional and I'm competent and have demonstrated this past year on exec. Some people know that I am a social team member this year at JDC West. I think it goes without saying that you have to be a little crazy to take on the challenge. But what people don't see is the commitment and planning and balancing my other commitments that went into it. Also, when you're on your 3rd day without sleep, competing in your 10th challenge, and you must remain happy and positive and because you're being judged on it, being able to be silly and goof around becomes a huge asset, and it is ultimately what led to our team's success. The second feedback I received was that I did not campaign hard enough, and it's funny having been VPM and discounting the power of marketing. It is extremely hard to give your all when you're running uncontested, and you're trying to balance the fine line between informing voters and annoying them, but obviously I did not do enough last time. One of my strengths is to be able to learn from my mistakes. My having lost the last election by such a small margin is due to me not having reached enough students, and from that I have learned of how important it is to give your 100% even if it does not always seem necessary. This is where my knowledge from the past year comes in. Every year, the new president has a steep learning curve. However, because I have seen the operations of the CSA from an executive level, I have a deep understanding of the competencies and shortcomings of the organization, and will be able to hit the ground running from day one. The third piece of feedback I received was not only a reflection on me, but a reflection on the state of the CSA as a whole. ASPR has over 1,600 students, and only approximately 13% of students came out and voted in the last election. And the feedback that I received was that students did not understand why it was important to them to vote. Students always say how they don't see readily available opportunities to get involved. However, there are always 10 booths in the fishbowl with opportunities for students, and no one ever stops. So it's necessary that something is done in order to get the students involved and have the CSA have another election like last year where there was over 35% voter turnout. My platform plans to address this problem with the following 4 steps. The first step is to evaluate our events to ensure a high standard is being met. This will involve holding focus groups with our stakeholders, the students, corporate representatives, and faculty, as it is time for a critical evaluation and so that changes and improvements can be made to better serve our stakeholders. The second step is to strengthen the relationship between the STAGs and the CSA. There's over 300 students involved in STAGs, and only 200 students came out to vote in the last election. Why are there so many students involved with STAGs that do not find the future of the CSA important to them? I will create a STAG representative position to act as a resource for the STAGs to help with communication and coordination with the CSA, the faculty, and each other to strengthen our relationship. The third step is to implement a student volunteer database. Many students would like to get involved but do not want to take on the large commitment, so this will be a way for students to volunteer with Shine Day, 5 Days, classroom talks, and more. Finally, recognizing all the hard work students is crucial. Therefore, the year-end social will be revamped to be the party that the students deserve for all the hard work they put in. Being CSA president is not always as glamorous as it seems. It is a lot of unthanked hours of volunteering and hard work, and the person who is going to do the job is the type of person who will persevere and always give their best, despite being tired or stressed out, as they're doing it because they truly want the best for others. I believe that me running to be your president again shows my perseverance, dedication, and humility. If you agree it's time for me to refocus our priorities, then vote for Aly tomorrow on Wednesday, and you will start seeing results from day one.